If you want to know about dragons, really know about them, in the game of D&D, there is only one definitive source, the Draconomicon. Welcome back to Dragon Week here on Green and Gold Gaming. Monster Week is an annual community event created and organized by Pointy Hat and Jenny D to bring together TTRPG creators on YouTube, and this year's theme is dragons. I'm Renegade Paladin, the primary narrator and editor here at Green and Gold Gaming, and this afternoon we're discussing Copper Dragons. Copper Dragons have a well-deserved reputation as inveterate jokers and pranksters, loving riddles and all sorts of humor. They are mostly good-natured, but the draconic propensity for greed is still ever-present. Copper Dragons prefer to lair in dry, rocky uplands and mountains, which often means their territories abut or overlap those of Brass Dragons. Meetings between the two species tend to result in marathon conversations, in which the Copper tells a non-stop stream of jokes while the Brass banters on, simply happy to have someone to talk to, until one gets tired of the other, the Copper for the Brass not acknowledging the jokes, or the Brass for the Copper not letting it get a word in edgewise, and leaves. This choice of territory also often leaves Copper Dragons with silver, blue, or red dragons for neighbors. Silvers avoid contact with the Coppers, who they find tiresome, while the chromatic dragons will invariably try to kill or drive away their metallic neighbors, as the Copper Dragon considers their presence a challenge and will do all it can to embarrass and annoy them. Copper Dragons try to lair in narrow caves, and use their native ability to cast Move Earth and Stone Shape to improve the space and conceal the entrance. They build twisting mazes, often with open tops so the dragon can jump or climb over intruders, but unlike most dragons, they're happy to have cramped lairs that don't permit flight, since they can rely on their goat-like ability to climb nearly sheer stone to navigate their homes. Copper Dragons are powerful climbers and jumpers with massive limbs to suit. The dragon's head features a short snout and no beak. The segmented horns start above the brows and sweep back, accompanied by a backswept ridge on the cheekbones. The frill on the lower jaw, by contrast, sweeps forward. Layers of blade-like triangular scales jut downwards from the chin, and as the dragon ages, more layers develop. Copper wormling scales are a red-brown color with a metallic tint at hatching, developing into a rich, burnished copper as the dragon ages, taking on a verdigris-like green tinge to the scales as the dragon reaches its more venerable years. The pupils also fade with age until a great copper worm's eyes appear as glowing turquoise orbs. Copper dragons have manta-like wings, copper in coloration with reds and verdigris green toward the trailing edges. They have a short upper alar bone, making the wings take on a forward-facing U-shape when in flight. The wings span the length of the dragon's body, inserting almost at the tip of the tail. The main wing surface is framed by 3 phalanges and a modified alar olecranon, with the trailing surfaces held up by spines emerging from the backbone. These characteristics make it easily distinguishable from a brass dragon, which shares similar preferences in habitat. A copper dragon's love of humor means it must seek companionship, as it takes at least 2 to share a joke, making them essentially social creatures. However, they avoid the company of other copper dragons except when mating, because their propensity to play pranks on each other tends to escalate into severe rivalries, spawning wars of insults and practical jokes spanning centuries. Copper dragon courtship involves outrageous humor as well as tenderness. They value mates who can make them laugh. Mating among copper dragons is not permanent, but the couple stays together long enough to raise their offspring to adulthood before parting ways. While like most dragons, coppers can and will eat almost anything, including metal ores, they especially prize monstrous scorpions and other venomous arthropods, claiming that the venom in their diet sharpens their wit. They consider good sport almost as important as food, making them determined hunters. Eluding them will only prompt them to doggedly pursue. They appreciate wit from any source, however, and usually won't harm a creature who can tell them a riddle or joke they have not heard before. They quickly lose patience with anyone who doesn't laugh at their jokes or accept their tricks. They also love being the center of attention and will quickly grow angry if upstaged. When collecting their treasure hoards, copper dragons prefer precious stones and metals, things that come from the earth, but they also value fine arts and craftsmanship. Although they prefer not to fight, a copper dragon is a tenacious fighter when cornered, using every trick they know to secure victory and spraying acid from their mouths. They are similarly ferocious when defending their lair or current mate and offspring. Otherwise, they prefer to outwit and embarrass their enemies, considering a perfect victory to come from annoying an opponent into giving up. In any case, they favor thinking and planning over brute force. They will deal with superior foes, like red or blue dragons, by leading them into narrow canyons or caves, where they can use their climbing ability to outmaneuver their antagonists, aided by the slowing gas that is their alternative breath weapon. Thus concludes our feature on Copper Dragons for Dragon Week. Be sure to check out the Dragon Week features from other creators as well. A link to today's playlist will be in the description. If you enjoy our content, please like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you later in the week for more discussion of dragons.